as a family financial advisor for the past 20 years. These are the three most common reasons that I see that keep people from being able to retire early. And these are outside of the obvious one, which is you haven't saved up enough money yet. All right, let's jump in. Number one is not having their money in the right types of accounts. I call this the 3-bucket strategy. You want to have some money that's in a regular IRA, a regular 401k. So this is money that as you take it out, you're going to be taxed on as ordinary income on. You want to have a second bucket, which is a Roth IRA or a Roth 401k that you can take money out of. It grows tax-free and you can take it out without triggering taxes. Now, you didn't get the tax break on the way in, but now it becomes what I call a tax me never account. And then the third bucket is a tax me as I go bucket, which would be like your regular bank account. You didn't get a tax break on the way in. The money doesn't grow tax-free as you keep it, right? Money you have at the local bank. As an example, when you earn interest on that, well, every year you're filing your tax returns and that becomes taxable income for you. So you have a tax me later, which is the regular 401k, regular IRA, the tax me never account, which is the Roth version of those, and then the tax me as I go. So those are the buckets. Now, why does this matter? Why does this keep people from retiring early? You know, if all of your money is in a regular IRA or a regular 401k, which is very common, right? We were kind of taught that was, as young people starting off in our careers, put as much money in your 401k as you can. Boy, you get a tax break for that, right? You put it in pre-tax dollars, and so when you take the money out later, hopefully you're at a lower tax bracket. So it's not at all uncommon for me to see people with their cash, with their investments in two types of accounts. A bank type of account, tax me as I go, and the rest of it in a tax me later account. And the joke in my industry is at that stage, every time that you buy a loaf of bread, every time you buy a gallon of milk, you're gonna have to pay ordinary income tax on that. Why? Because the money that you take out of these regular 401ks, the money you take out of regular IRAs, that's going to be taxed as you go. And so you do want to have money in these other buckets so that you can take advantage of the lower tax brackets in the US tax system, which the two lowest brackets are paying tax at the 10% rate and paying tax at the 12% rate. So you want to be able to control that. You want to make sure you do what we call in the industry filling up those low tax brackets. But if all your money's in a regular IRA, regular 401k, you're going to likely blow past those limits and put yourself very quickly into the higher tax brackets. So that's number one, is having the 3 buckets. Number 2 is your health. This is another thing that keeps people from retiring early, is they've just kind of lost the energy and the vitality and the desire to retire early. They're kind of on autopilot, frankly, because in many ways they've either lost their physical health or they've lost some of their mental health. So let me start off on the physical health, right? Every year as we get older, obviously, we're losing some of our vitality, some of our muscle mass. We get more aches and pains. Our cardio strength goes down. It gets hard to climb that flight of stairs, to go up to the museum, to go up to whatever the location is that you want, to go on a mountain hike to the top of a volcano. While that might sound like a heck of a lot of fun and a big adventure in your 20s, if you've lost your health, that can seem like a pretty arduous task. So keeping up with your health, your physical health, and investing in that, eating right, exercising regularly, taking the time to buy healthy groceries, and just investing it. So you still have that energy, you still have that desire, you still have this thirst for adventure that needs to be quenched. So that's the first part of health. The second part of health is your mental health. And there's a person on YouTube I like to follow, Jocko Wilkins. And Jocko just talks about being mentally tough. And that works for a lot of us, right? You lock it down, he says, lock it down. He was a ex-Navy SEAL. And so when you have mental challenges, when you have big tasks in front of you, and frankly, managing the transition from working to not working, from having a career in a work identity to not having that identity anymore, that takes a lot of mental energy. Now, at some point, we all have to go through that transition. So why not do that in your 50s or your early 60s, so you get the benefit of having gone through that transition and you have those extra years in what I call the youth of your senior years. So Jocko talks about locking it down. When you're facing challenges, just focusing on the task at hand and just hitting it. Jocko talks about decisions being binary. I was talking about your physical health early. Are you going to eat the donut or aren't you? Are you going to wake up at 6 a.m. and get in a workout before work or aren't you? Are you going to stretch and take care of yourself so you don't have the aches and pains? Are you going to invest the 30 minutes of doing some yoga so that you have 30 more years of ache-free and pain-free life? And so Jocko just talks about making that binary decision, and I'm a big fan of that. So that's the second one, is your health, and just keeping up with your health is so important. And related to your health is healthcare insurance. This is a big one, particularly for people in the United States. We get our healthcare insurance through our employer, most of us. And so if you're gonna retire early, if you're gonna retire before 65, what do you do for your healthcare insurance? How do you take advantage of that, right? It's nice to be able to leave work early and begin your retirement journey, but there's still this big challenge, this overhang on us, which is our healthcare insurance. And when you think about it, when you're 50 years old, when you're 55, when you're 60 years old, this is the prime of the youth of your senior years. And taking full advantage of it is so important. Yet the reality is, for many, many Americans, we can't do that. Even if we're willing to face that transition, even if we've done everything right, even if we've saved up a lot of money. I know people that have $3 million, $5 million that would say, I can't retire because I don't know what I would do for my healthcare insurance. And my answer to that is, you can buy healthcare insurance. It's not cheap, but you can buy healthcare insurance. And again, this gets back to that 3-bucket strategy. If you have those 3 buckets, you can manage what your taxable income is, and maybe you'll be able to qualify for an Affordable Care Act healthcare subsidy, which can be quite substantial. And for others, we're just going to have to pay full rack rate on that. And that might be the price that you pay in order to be able to retire early, the price that you pay in order to be able to squeeze all the juice out of the 1,000 weeks at 60 years old. Most of us have less than 1,000 weeks remaining of healthy active time. So buying your own healthcare insurance might be the price that you pay to get to take that first squeeze, not the last squeeze, but the first squeeze. And that's really what we all want. We want that first squeeze of life. When we're in our 50s, when we're in our late 50s, our early 60s, that first squeeze when the juice is the sweetest and flows the most freely. But unfortunately, many of us are stuck in a cubicle during what could be the first squeeze of our lives, being held back by healthcare insurance. And if you want to learn more about healthcare insurance, that's what this video up here is. It's healthcare insurance for people 50 plus. I'll see you in there. Thanks for watching this video. Bye-bye.